welcome listeners. We are doing a special episode of 2 Men to Six Pack on a Wednesday morning at around 10:35. We're recording this, and we'll obviously broadcast it later and have the audio later. We're doing it. We got special guest with us, Chris Miller. Anything you want to know about high school athletics, Chris is the man. So, Chris, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And then we have Chris Rayner, who his self-knowledge of all topics, high school, college, NFL, NHL, soccer. I mean, you're
Soccer.
I mean, we were talking off air just a minute ago about Chelsea and how she's going to do this.
Doing? Is she doing pretty good?
Yeah, she's going to do pretty
Having
good.
A good season.
Yeah, they're going to.
Man City United.
Yeah, Man City United and Birmingham leads.
Birmingham Stallions.
Yeah, the Birmingham Stallions. So, anyway, Chris, thanks for joining us today, man. So we're going to talk high school. This is like I guess it's not copyrighted, is it? Pigskin preview, right? So if it is, we're just going to say we're going to talk high school football preview today. You're going to be out of town on Sunday, so you're not going to be able to join us for the podcast, but this is extremely important, and we wanted to have a special episode where folks can learn about high school football. So before we get talking about high school football, though, let's talk about there's been some changes since last year with the conferences and the classifications and whatnot. So I'll kind of throw some questions out there, and you guys can answer them. Chris, take the lead, and Rainer, you fill in when you know. I'm sure you'll be able to chime in about Southwest, obviously. Maybe. So okay. So reclassification, they do it every 3 or 4 years. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
3 or 4 years, and they decided this time when they were going to do it, they not only were going to reclassify the schools, but they also were going to make additional classifications. So, and what I mean by that is in North Carolina, for as long as I can remember, it's been 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A based on the size of your school, population like at a certain date the previous year or something like that, which seems weird to me, but anyway. And it's always been 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A. Well, they decided this year that they were going to basically double that. I mean, that's a horrible thing to say. But now there is 1A through 8A. Mm-hmm. So previously, several years ago, they did this big 1A, small 1A in football. They just did it. Was football the only sport that they did that in?
Football's the only sport.
Okay, so they did that in football several years ago, which created 8 state champions, basically, in football. You had 2 in the 1A, 2 in 2A, and so forth. But now, with this whole new classification system, we're going to end up having 8 state champions in do we know, is it going to be in all sports, or you think they'll do they'll combine some
I think
stuff?
they'll combine, and for cross country and track and field and sports like that. But for football, you'll have 8 state champions. Basketball, you'll have 8 state champions. So, we'll have.
Well, you'll have a lot. Not that you weren't busy already, but now you will be even busier. And I would assume so. Like when we were in school, which they did have running water and lights back then.
Towards the end of it.
Towards the end, my senior year, we did have. I remember we were 2A,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember we had in track and field. It was just in track and field.
Mm-hmm.
We had a joint state championship, but it wasn't. It was weird. It was like 1A had their own, and then 2A, 3A had a combined state championship in track and field, and then 4A had their own. So, I guess the model has been there. They've done it in the past. So there will be 8 state champions in a lot of sports.
Yeah, I think we were talking. Rainer and I were talking a few minutes ago that the move from 4A, for 4 classifications, I think it was needed, but 8 was probably a little too much. I think we agreed maybe 6.
6 would have been great.
At least 5, or at least 5, but 6 would be a perfect number. But they went with 8, and we'll see how that goes. And
well, like states like Georgia and Texas and Florida, I know those big states, and I'm sure California as well. I don't know right offhand, but I know they have classifications I mean, if you're basing it on populations, hell, Texas could probably be 12A or whatever. But I know Georgia goes through at least 8A, don't they?
Yeah.
Florida's 8A too.
Are they?
I think Florida. Yeah, Max Press released like who they think is going to win every state championship and every classification for every state. And I actually looked at it the other day, and like Florida has like 7, South Carolina has like 7.
Oh, the South. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
so we actually have more classifications than a lot of states. And if you want to talk California has there are so many schools, and California so big that they don't even do a state champion. They do like sectional.
Yeah, they do it based on like the area that you are. Don't
Yeah,
they?
like Southern California,
Yeah.
Eastern, Western.
That's interesting. Saves on travel.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So we got the classifications. In my opinion, I have no ties to the High School Athletic Association. I know we have some guests or we have some co-hosts normally on here, Dave Miller, that enjoys poking fun at the North Carolina High School Athletic Association. Again, I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't care. But from one thing that I can see, obviously, this is going to be a revenue generator as well. Correct?
Yeah, I would assume so. That I think they got some good paychecks when they had 8 state football champions. Of course, you had 8 state championships you had to pay for, but
Yeah.
you know,
But so.
but those are
But I'm sure that they ran the numbers on that and before they did expand, and I'm sure, like, and I don't know this. Maybe I don't know. Southwest haven't been there so long. You probably don't know, but if in football, so like when like Carolina and State and Wake Forest, all these college programs, when they host the football, do they pay the high school to host them, or does the high school pay them to host them, or is it just hey, we're going to give you, we're going to swap out? Do you know?
I think the $12 hot dogs and all that, they probably make a lot of money off of.
Okay.
I think from what I heard, used to back in the dark ages, like 10 years ago when Southwest went to their last one. I think it was like they got concessions, and it's like a lot of these athletes, it's a recruiting tool.
Who
to have them there.
Who got concessions?
Oh,
The
I'm
school?
sure. No,
The
I
school?
don't think the schools got them. I'm sure the colleges got the concessions.
Oh no, yeah.
who got the beer cells?
Well, they didn't have that. That's interesting. Is that going to be?
Oh, I doubt they will have beer sales. Yeah, I doubt they'll have beer.
It's
Have
their
sales.
gig, man. It's their music hall.
Well, I mean that's it. I mean, so it's a revenue. I mean, but the thing about it is, so let me ask you this. I mean, I don't, and we're gonna get to the football. This kind of directly around a roundabout involves football. So last year, how many high school teams made the playoffs at the 1A level or 2A level or 3? Was it 32 from the state?
Yeah, there was
32 East and 32
no,
West.
yeah,
wasn't it?
32 East, so 64 total.
Okay, so 60 for the 2A classification or whatever.
64.
Okay. Is that going to expand, or are you still going to have 64 teams playing in the 2A state
No,
I
you're
championship?
think
gonna
you
have-
have
you're
32 in each one.
Yeah, 32 in the East, 32 in the West for 1A, 2A, 3A, 4. So you're gonna have 64 teams times 8.
So you're doubling.
So you're
the number.
doubling the so
They're not going down to just 32.
So like in the
Wow.
past, and again, not picking on them, I'm just being factual here. So in the past, when a team like Lejeune had gone 2-10, they were and made the, or 2-8 and made the state playoffs. Then that was an anomaly. You had a team with a losing record making the. I would think in my mind now you're going to have more teams with losing records making the playoffs based on the additional teams throughout the state making the football playoffs.
And it's
Is that an accurate statement?
That's accurate, and it's gonna get worse for other sports.
I have
like
a question.
like for soccer, girls soccer.
Yeah.
You're gonna have Owen. You already had winless teams in the 1A girls soccer in the playoffs. Now you're gonna have even more. You're gonna probably have teams in the brackets that don't even have a team. Schools that don't even have a team because.
Well, I have a quick question. I thought the numbers when they came out, 1A would be 32 teams, 8A would be 32, and the rest are 64. So does that mean everybody makes the playoffs?
I think what they said was pretty much everybody's going to make the playoffs minus a small handful in each
Well, if
classification.
there's 64 in each class, that's everybody, yeah.
And then
That'd be interesting.
and then you on top of that, conference champions don't get automatic bids anymore.
Have you heard
What-
of that, Steve?
No, they don't.
It's all based on RPI now. So you could have a number 2 team in the conference over a number 1 team.
Now
in the conference.
the chances of that happening, are very rare. I'm not trying to pick on Lejeune. The only time that this would happen is if like Lejeune girls soccer, because they don't play in a very strong conference, goes 6-0 in conference, and then they go 6-15 overall. Well,
So your non-conference schedule is gonna
Yeah.
is okay.
so
be the
so a lot of coaches have talked to me off record about why do we even have conferences?
Yeah.
Why don't you just schedule who you want to
It's
schedule?
regional games.
And then
That's a valid that's a valid that's a valid debate. I mean, or a valid comment to make.
and then
Think about this: if 2 teams in a conference, they play the same conference schedule. Team A loses to Team B, so Team B is the conference champion. Team A, though, had a tough non-conference
Oh,
schedule.
yeah, absolutely.
They can actually theoretically be higher
Yeah,
than the
that's-
team that
well,
won the conference championship.
And that's what I was thinking about.
I don't know if
mean,
they do anything head-to-head. I don't think they do. I think it's all RBI.
I would think it would have to be head to head first, though, man.
but that's
I don't know.
but that's how they do it in college
it out.
sports, college,
Yeah.
March Madness. I mean,
Yeah.
how
That's true.
many times have you seen a team, Duke finished 3rd in the ACC, get a notch above?
That's true.
well,
Virginia
Duke.
Tech, who finished 2nd. In the
Yeah, well, Duke gets preferential treatment anyway, but we won't go into that. So okay, so let's move. So we've talked about the classifications, we talked about the rhyme nor reason, we talked about potential records. So let's talk about the conferences, and how it impacts area schools. I don't know if you're prepared to just talk about all area schools, including East Carteret. I mean, including East Duplin and
Yeah.
and Croatan and West Carteret or whatever, or however
Well,
you
they're
want
in
to do
our
it.
they're in our county's conferences anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the realignment of conferences, and I'll let you start. However, Chris, you want to start?
I mean, I guess
No.
we'll go big to small. I mean,
Yeah, that's fine.
big Carolina 6A, 7A conference. I mean, Jacksonville is going to stay in that league with South Central and Conley, Rose, and New Bern. Havelock left the conference, but White Oak came in. Look, the Jacksonville people weren't happy 4 years ago when this process started, but they're used to it now. It's going to be interesting to see how White Oak does in all sports in that conference. And,
Did Northside leave that conference?
yeah, Northside left that conference, and
Okay.
they're in that coastal conference with Richlands
Okay.
and Havelock and
So Havelock left, Northside left, and White Oak went in, and you said 6A, 7A.
So they dropped one team.
So there's a
seven to six.
it's a split conference basically.
And you remember Swansboro was originally going to be in that conference, but they appealed and appealed and appealed, and finally that appeal got granted.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not, it is what it is. I mean, I can see the validity, obviously, for Swansboro, saying, from a drive time. I mean, I can see it unless they hit up.
White Oak is not much
Well,
closer.
20 minutes closer
Not that much. Maybe, they say 14 miles, but yeah, probably by the way the
by activity
travel.
bus, man.
Now,
I
Chris,
mean, I don't-
one quick question: the 2 7As, just for clarification, are Conley and New Bern, right?
Yes.
And the rest are 6. Okay.
So White Oak is going to have to play New Bern every year.
Conley, South Central, Rose. Rose is considered the top dog in that conference this year, preseason.
So I did see the
And
so
Coach Jackson.
so probably the coaches. I saw something about that. So just what you're saying, Rose is predicted to be first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was it Newbern and Jacksonville predicted to be tied for
Tied for
second?
Yeah.
And then Conley was third and White Oak fourth. Is that how it was?
Well, Conley, I guess technically was 4th since,
Okay, yeah, fourth, yeah,
and
and
then
White Oak fifth
South Central.
and South Central
Yes.
sixth. So, I got some questions. Okay,
Well,
so-
I got to give a shout out to Bo Williams and the Jacksonville crowd. When they got stuck in that conference, there's 2 ways you could have done it. You just keep complaining about it or take care of business. Last year, didn't win the conference title, lost to Havelock, but yet they were in the Eastern Finals. They made the most of it. I think that conference has made them a little better. Don't you agree, Chris?
yeah, I think. I mean,
Just the
actually,
competition.
them Havelock and New Bern all shared the conference title.
Yeah.
They all beat each other
But
up.
by a draw,
And,
Havelock does.
and I mean, you talked to Dave Miller over, from the old Jacksonville soccer coach.
old Jacksonville soccer.
I mean,
Ooh.
that's when they really started becoming a state, contender, when they started playing that tougher conference, because it made them elevate their games more, and they took some lumps during the regular season, but they were prepared for the playoffs. So that year that they won their first state title, and they had 7-8 losses, but they went into the playoffs battle tested.
So one correction on you, Rayner. Bo probably quit complaining about it and just started playing football. But we know for a fact there was a lot of a lot of Jacksonville fans and a lot of Jacksonville people still were complaining about that every week. And by hey, by all admission, having to drive 2.5 hours.
And that's the main thing. It's not the competition as much as it's just
Well, I mean, you got to remember, why kids are in school, and I definitely get their validity.
You got boys basketball teams getting home at 1 a.m.
I just my biggest fear with this whole thing is Jacksonville makes the state championship in football, and they have to play in Kenan Stadium, and we have to hear them complain when they get beat again, because Carolina's converted back to natural gas.
I'm going to ask Bo. Bo's going to be on the show tomorrow on Sports Talk, so I'll ask him about that tomorrow.
Ask him about that tomorrow.
Natural gas.
Natural gas, yeah.
Natural gas.
It was an explosion, right? Because it only rained on one side of the field. But anyway, we won't go there. Okay, so we got Wyduke and Jacksonville covered with that. Now next conference, I'm assuming, is a 6A, is a 5A, is a 5A conference.
5A, 6A.
5A, 6A.
Well, and because you got the Coastal 5A, 6A, which Havelock, West Carteret, Croatan, Swansboro, Northside, Richlands, and Dixon, and Swansboro is the only 6A team in that conference.
Man, so
I'm going to go ahead and declare Havelock conference champs.
I mean,
with White Oak right there with them.
White Oak,
not White Oak. I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and declare you Havelock conference champs.
So they're going to be.
Are you safe with that guess?
Well, I kind of I don't know if you saw it, Steve. I made a Twitter post last week. The coaches met at Golden Corral last week.
Okay.
And they did their coaches poll, and surprise, Havelock was the preseason favorite, and the preseason player of the year was Captain Obvious.
Yeah. I mean, I concur with that. You're gonna go out and make a bold statement that 5A, the 5A, it's gonna be won by Havelock.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go out and make a bold statement that the 6A champion will be Swansboro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give them that one. And once again, that.
Wait a minute. Wait. So
they're the only 6A, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So who's the coach at Havelock? I don't know.
Brett Wooten.
Okay. Was he there last year?
Yeah, he was there the last couple of years. Yeah.
So, how do you feel, like, internally, if you're Brett Wooten, going from the conference that you were in? I mean, nothing. This is not a slap on Dixon. It's not a slap on Northside. Northside should have.
Northside will be better this year.
Will be better, but it's not like, I mean, every week in and week out, you're not playing Rose, or you're not playing, New Bern, or you're not playing Jacksonville. I mean, who did the coaches predict to be the second place finisher?
West Carteret, and then it was Northside.
And then Northside.
I say they're the only two that'll give them a competitive game for a little while.
Well, I mean, if you
until kickoff.
Well, Northside competed with Havelock last year. They were only down 8-0 after 3 quarters last year, and then Havelock scored four touchdowns in the fourth quarter. So I think athletically, Northside could.
And they were very young last year. Yeah. Everybody coming back
could hang with Havelock athletically. It's just they need to minimize those mistakes they've been making.
Okay. Unless the transfer portal was bad to them, they should have everybody back.
Okay, all right. So we got that. So that leaves what, Southwest. And they're in I'm assuming
3A, 4A, East Central.
Okay, and that is
the 3A teams are Southwest, Clinton, and East Duplin, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the 4As. The 3As are Trask, Pender, and South Lenore, I think.
Trask.
I don't know. Trask and Pender might be the only 2 3As.
Yeah.
South Lenore could be 4A.
Yeah. It's hard to keep track.
It is.
But
I know East Duplin and Southwest are the 2 favorites. Mm-hmm. Nobody knows about Clinton because they had such a horrible year last year.
Man.
But I don't see Clinton staying down long. I mean, people get together and get the districting back right, where they can start getting open enrollment again.
Yeah, what in the hell happened last year, man?
They went for a player for the state championship against Reedsville to
They must have brought in a superintendent from outside the area that came into the area or something like that. All right, so that, and then Lejeune is the last. What conference are they in?
And they're still going to be in that Coastal Plains 1A, 2A with Jones Senior, East Carteret, Pamlico. Are
they 1A or 2A?
Actually, Lejeune is actually 2A.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh wow. So there are some schools that are potentially smaller than Wow. Okay. And we mentioned Croatan, and they're going to be in the in that not 3A. They're going to be in the 5A
Yeah.
with Havelock, and then we of course just touching on West Carteret. They'll be in the 5A, and then I'll just make sure we touch on East Duplin. Okay. We just talked talked about them. All right. So before and these are just some general questions for you guys. You read your article last week, I guess, highlighting the football predictions. Just a little brief snippet on each high school. But
We're both looking for it now.
but it's well, I'm not going to ask him about that right now. But it did solicit some thoughts in my mind, some questions, and these are just general questions. So why do you guys think preseason predictions stir up so much passion among high school football
There's
fans?
a lot of passion in high school football.
Even though they're just for fun. Why do you think that, Chris Miller?
Well, I think people are just excited for the start of high school football season, and everybody's 0-0. They think everybody believes that they're going to have a great season, and they've been working hard since spring, if not since the end of last season. So they're excited. So I think they're
in their minds, they're all 10-0 and going to win the state championship.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's a great way to look at it, I guess.
Did you see the picture in the article that Chris Miller had of Jonathan Bird when he was told he would have to start traveling to Greenville to play teams?
No.
yeah.
It's obviously a different situation, but that would be me. Well, you got to go to Greenville 3 times, the next 2 years.
Yeah.
What?
Well, Bird is a good friend of mine.
Oh, and he's got that team. He's got that team.
I was out there last week watching him practice one day, and he's a good guy. All right,
He's got them a lot stronger than. Don't you agree? A lot stronger the last 5 years than they've ever been. In that.
Oh, yeah.
Other than when Goody was there.
No.
Goody alone was stronger than any team. That
we did.
that's put together.
It's so different how things were now.
You and Mike Leary. Mike
Yeah,
Leary
Mike
was a
Leary.
chronic weightlifter.
All he did was leg press.
All he did was take that band and whip his leg with it.
Yeah. So. All right, Rainer, I'm gonna ask you this question.
All right.
From a coach and a player's perspective, do you think predictions serve more as motivation or pressure? So from that perspective, and it may depend on where you're predicted to finish, I guess, obviously, but being a Southwest guy, and Southwest predicted to compete with East Duplin for first place in the 5A or 6, whatever they in
3A, 4A.
3A, 4A. Yeah.
East Central.
Do you think that serves as a motivator, or it puts pressure on Southwest?
I think it depends on the coach. Some coaches
Well, you
love
got a
to
new
use
coach.
bulletin board material. Some don't. Some look at it and love to be the underdog. I think everybody loves to be the underdog because you can use that as motivation. And there's a year where Phil Padgett was the overdog, and he downplayed that, and then when he's the underdog, he played that up to his advantage. So I think they spin it both ways.
All right.
Oh.
7-2. That's impressive.
Yeah. Coach Padgett. Yeah, he could be playing Sisters of the Poor, and we could talk to him before the game.
I'll tell you,
Well, we've had a bad week of practice, and
hope we can just compete.
They got a big offensive line. Yeah. Miller, what team do you believe is most likely to outperform its preseason projection, and why?
Ooh, man, that's a
good question.
You
Isn't
got
it?
Swansboro at 1-9, so all they got to do is win one more game.
yeah. I would say. Yeah, thanks for giving me the answer. I would say Swansboro. I do have them picking 1-9, and again, it's all in fun. Rodney BC, their second-year coach, texted me and said, "Hey, my guys are not real happy with you right now," and
That's motivation.
That's motivation.
That's motivation. So, look, they have some winnable games. So, I mean, you're right. If they win 2 games, then that exceed expectations. But they have a chance to win 2 or 3 in non-conference, and then see what they do against Dixon or Richlands, and some of the other teams might be a little too strong, but they'll have a chance.
So would you? So in theory, now, and we're going to talk. Let's talk. We've talked records, but So who do you think is going to be the biggest surprise this year in Onslow County? Who's going to surprise people, or in the area, whether good or bad? So, and what I mean by that, people are thinking, oh man, this team's going to be good. Well, they may end up potentially laying an egg, or this team, potentially And I know that's hard to say right now because we've been going through preseason practices and stuff like that. We really there's been some scrimmages, but who do you think?
I would say Richlands because I think right now I have them at 3-7, finishing 3-7. But
Is that because they lost their coach and we just kind of don't know?
well, and they lost a lot of. They had a really strong defense the last 2 years. They lost a lot of those guys: Marcus Brandhoover, Samaj Thompson, Julian Teal. Those guys had been with the program since they were freshmen and sophomores. So they helped build that program back up, and now they graduated. And
so they're kind of like you just don't know.
Yeah, you just don't know. But I could see them. Like I said, 3-7, but I can, win a game against Croatan or win a game against the, maybe Southwest to open up the season, and right there you have from 3-7 to 5-5.
Hey, they got a 3-game win streak, 5 years.
They do have a 3-game,
5-game non-lose streak. The Southwest. So, did they put up the Pat Bird statue yet? Have you been out there?
No, they haven't even built a Battle Holly statue at East Duplin yet, so they got to build that first.
Yeah. I figured, Bird beating Southwest 3 years in a row, they'd have a statue underneath.
Retired undefeated
yeah.
against Southwest.
So, yeah.
Hell, I don't believe
My
it.
surprise might be Lejeune, though. And I know you hate when I talk about Lejeune football, but with Lejeune
don't
football,
hate
you
it, man.
never know. There are
Well, you
boxes
just
of
don't know.
chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
No,
You can
yeah.
have that one player that transfers in that nobody knows about, and all of a sudden you got a DeCenzo or that was the kid they had that led him to the Eastern Finals that year. Wasn't that his name? Long-haired kid. Yeah. But he was just a player that made a difference. So you can see them winning more than 2 if they get that type team, or that type player.
Well, let's dig in. And I'm just going to go alphabetically, so there's no rhyme nor reason towards big or small. Chris, start with Croatan. So talk about Croatan and give me your thoughts.
They've been 3-0 the last couple of years, and then they face some tough competition with East Duplin, and then they kind of don't find that as much success. But Croatan's always going to be well coached. I mean, those kids are strong. They work hard. So you never know how good they're going to be. If they can get some explosiveness throughout the season, I think they can steal some extra wins. I just don't see them winning the conference. I mean, I think they'll lose to Havelock. I think they'll lose to Southwest, but and Northside, West Carteret. But I mean, they could steal a game against Carteret and a couple of those teams like that. So I got them going 5-5, but I wouldn't be surprised if they went 7-3.
So they're not. It's looking to me like their non-conference is Topsail, Southwest, Washington, and East Carteret, correct? And then they hit conference play.
You got them beating Washington, the Pan Pack?
So after
Yes.
after 4 games, where does Croatan stick heading into the conference?
3-1.
3-1.
With the one win against Washington, which could go the other way, either way.
Well, no, I have them losing the Topsail. Oh, okay, no, I'm sorry. I have them losing the Topsail, Southwest, and non-conference. So I guess 2-2.
2-2.
And then losing to Havelock, Northside, and West Carteret in conference play.
Well, Chris Miller, you know these teams better than any of us because you cover all of them. As you go through each one with your prediction and stuff, kind of on their offense, they're more of a run team, right?
They're more of a run team.
Let us know which one's run, which one's spread, that type of thing.
Well, Crotan's likes a smash mouth style, but they have thrown in some passes here and there the last couple of years, so they're hoping that's going to open things up a little bit. But they want to control the clock. They want to control the tempo, very much like what East Duplin does. But Crotan's just so hard to defend, and like I said, those guys buy into that system. So I mean, they're a hard team to beat.
Is the Pampa really that down this year?
Well, I don't think they really had that strong of a season last year as well.
Year before was when they were good. Yeah, that's right.
All right, Dixon. Let's talk about Dixon.
They're more of a run team too, right?
They're more of a run team. You talk about old school, maybe not as bad as not as old school as Travis Connor's Notre Dame box offense.
The box.
But they do break out the old school offense. A lot of coaches think Dixon could be the wild card this year because of that offense, because Kelly Davis does a good job. Again, those kids buy into it.
This is third year now?
Yeah, this is third year.
Getting it rolling.
I think they had high expectations going into last year. But they lost 2 or 3 games by 2 or 3 points. So they didn't have, in terms of wins, didn't have the season they really wanted. But you turn those things around, and they're back in they can be competitive again.
So you've got something we didn't do for Croatan, but we'll start it with Dixon. So you've got them predicted as at 2-8. Could you see them? And I'm just let's go high and low. Could you see them going 1-9, or could you see them going 3-7 or 4-6?
I mean, I could see Dixon going 1-9. I think they'll beat Hopton. I mean, the Swansboro game could be a toss-up.
Yep.
I do have Dixon beating Swansboro this year, but again, I mean, depending on how Dixon plays, could they beat Richlands? Possibly. Could they beat some of these other teams? I mean, I don't know really how good Topsail is, so they play them in non-conference, so it'll be interesting.
Cool. Rainer, since we're gonna broadcast this, and because we're not gonna record, will you look up next week's schedule so when we get to that point, us three can make predictions?
All the teams.
Yeah.
You've got that probably on something, don't you?
Okay.
He has a better job. He can do it all on one thing. I'd have to look him up individually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know Chris keeps him on his because he's the one that feeds me when we do the prognosticators picks.
Yeah.
Chris is the one that
Okay.
feeds them to
Yeah,
me.
I get them. I got
to
the
do.
week 1 schedule on my phone here.
Okay. Well, we'll get to that because I want to. Okay. While that's loading, I mean, we'll do that at the end. So let's talk about East Duplin. Didn't they have they had a down year last year, didn't they? Or did they? Was it?
I think
Compared to coming off a state championship, yeah, but
well, I mean,
but
obviously
not terrible. Yeah,
I mean,
they were still. They tied with Wallace for the conference championship, or did they win it? The conference championship.
no, they
It was between Wallace and Keenan, wasn't it?
yeah, I think Keenan actually lost early in conference play, like the North and Nor, unexpectedly. I don't know how that happened, but ended up winning the rest of the way to win the conference title. Right. East Duplin finished third, but the thing about Battle Holly's teams is they always get better throughout the season.
Yeah.
So they may not be the same team in week 1 as they are in week 11. Which, I mean, that is what he coaches his players to do, is get better at the right time. So I think I have them going 7-3, 5-0 in the East Central Conference. I do have them losing to Wallace to open up the season, losing to James Keenan, and then losing to Jacksonville.
All of which are non-conference now.
Yeah.
When is what James Keenan are that what? So they're not in that conference.
No.
Are they small? They're smaller.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Wallace and James are in the same conference.
Oh, are they?
But they're no longer in the conference with each other.
God, man,
And they're 3A, so they could have been in the same conference, but they just had to make that line somewhere, so they
okay.
went this way with it instead of the other way.
So, you got them at 7-3. Out of the 3 games you have them losing, which game could they potentially win?
I think they could. Well, they could beat Jacksonville. Week 1 they got Walsrose Hill in week 1 to open up the season. You never know with rivalry games. You never know. So I can see them winning the game. I just have I wouldn't be surprised if they won all 3 of those games, but that's such a tough stretch that you're bound to lose one of those games.
On a little Duplin County side note, the Scotty McCreary concert at Duplin Event Center is the same night as Walsrose Hill and East Duplin.
Bad schedule.
They had scheduling on both parts. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I think more people go to the football game probably.
Yeah, probably. All right, let's move on to the big dog. Oh, everybody thinks they're the big dog. Jacksonville. You got them predicted to go 7-2. Well, so what's the deal? I mean, I'm reading your article here. What's the deal with them only having 9? I mean, they can't get a 10th game.
They can't. Nobody wants to work with Bo.
And it's been that way for this would be the 3rd year in a row?
No, the 5th year. It says here the
fifth year in a row,
the 5th consecutive year.
Yep.
I mean, I don't.
That's the price you pay for being good. That nobody wants to play you. And
Well, I mean, okay. I kind of. I mean, do you feel like? I mean, well, I'm not going to get into it. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, I would sure bet if he went south and asked New Hanover, Hoggard, or
I think with the realignment happening though, that a lot of things were promised out early.
Yeah.
Like a lot of
okay.
games.
Well, no, I do
Like,
understand.
There was commitments before you could do it.
I
and
do
everybody kind
understand.
of handshake
I do understand
agreement.
about this year.
Yeah.
But in previous
Oh, yeah.
years, if I'm not mistaken, Northside ran the the New Hanover County gauntlet. They played Hoggard. They played New Hanover. I think they play Laney.
they played Laney here and there. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, so game. I mean, okay. Well, it is what it is. I mean, I don't care. I'm not, yeah, I mean, when you're good, I mean, maybe Jacksonville should offer more money to come up there, like, like Alabama pays McNeese State,
Yeah.
$2 million
Hey, Matt,
to come.
But then
Yeah.
again, a game like that, and talking with Bo, before we talked a little bit before the show tomorrow, and he'll talk more about it on the show tomorrow too. But it kills you to play a team that's so down, RPI wise. Even to get a 10th game, it hurts your RPI so bad to play like a Lejeune or something.
So what you're telling me though is
9 games is better than a 10 in a cupcake.
Yeah, but nobody wants to play him. To me, if there was a team that was good, like a New Hanover or like somebody looking to schedule a team that would help them with their RPI, and I know this
that
year
would help them and help the other team.
Yeah.
I'm talking about. Bo doesn't want to go out and find like a Lake Matamuskeet just to have a game, a 10th game for no reason.
Yeah, no.
And he would use it to develop his younger talents from that. But still,
I totally get it.
Yeah, it would kill his RPI.
I totally get it going into this season. Okay, I totally get it. So 7-2, you've got them losing to Newbern and JH Rose, and that's the two of the big. They're in the big.
No, Rose is in the same classification as Jacksonville.
Okay, so Newbern is the only one that's in the different classification.
Conley is, but they're not.
Yeah.
Okay.
A factor.
Okay.
Usually.
So, out of those two losses, who do they have a better chance of beating, Newbern or Rose? I'm assuming Newbern, since Rose is predicted to win the.
I would say so. I just think Rose and Newbern are. They're strong teams. Jacksonville's going to be a strong team, and but again, I think Jacksonville's one of those teams where if they finish 7-2 and 3-2 in the conference, they're going to go in the playoffs healthy and ready. And I think Jacksonville will still have a chance to win a couple of playoff games in November and December. So I just think that just get into the playoffs healthy and do what you need to do there. And
Jacksonville I'm assuming predominantly runs the ball. Do they throw? Do they
spread? But they spread to run.
Yeah, and you have some major questions. Who's going to be the alpha dog running back, and how the new quarterback gonna do this year? And so you lost some weapons. You do have some offensive lineman guys coming back that is going to bode well, but it's going to be interesting to see how these running backs, receivers, and quarterbacks are going to when they get their opportunity, how they're going to do.
All right, let's move to Lejeune.
Lejeune,
I'm just going to read this. Lejeune graduated many of its key players who helped the program take positive steps, and heck, they may have had some damn transfer because their dads got transferred or whatever. So you got them going 2-8. They're in the same Coastal Plain 1A, 2A conference, going 1-5 in that conference, but with so Union is a non-conference win, and Jones Senior. So do we know much about this new coach, Sam?
Well, he's been on staff at Lejeune High School for several years, and he's helped coach various different sports. When the coach who coached last year went back to overseas to work for Dodia School there, they needed a coach. He thought it was his opportunity to apply, and really nice guy. He knows what he's doing. He has a little bit of a staff that's going to help him. So, and they do have a couple guys coming back that were key contributors last year, but their quarterback, their main running back, their main receiver from the last couple of years, all those guys graduated. So
didn't they have a quarterback several years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, that threw for like a ton of yardage?
Yeah, that was the last couple of years.
Had 8 touchdowns in one game.
Connor Shea. Yeah, he was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Made you wonder why the transfer portal wasn't working there after.
Yeah,
because he did that like his sophomore year or junior year.
I could have found him a address on Pontiac Road somewhere. How about that? No,
well, let's just say that certain folks in Havelock were interested in
Oh,
that.
wow. Oh, wow.
Chris, I have a question for your expertise. Are you predicting to beat Jones because Jones is still 8-man, or they be 11-man?
No, they'll be 11-man this year. They were 8-man.
That's why you're predicting, because it's 8-man.
No, they tried it last year. To be honest, I think it hurt more than it helped. I get why they tried to do it. They tried to, start from. But I think it hurt more than and it's just, it really is a tough situation. Jones Senior. I remember when Al Hobbs was coaching, and those teams were always very competitive, and even Greg Hampton had his teams early on competitive, and they just kind of.
Had him in a state championship game.
What
was it about?
Coach Hampton. Coach Hampton was a good dude, man. I'm assuming he's still. He's a good dude. All right, let's move on to Northside. So Northside is basically flipped with White Oak, and they're going to the Big Carolina Conference, and you got them going 6-4, 5-1, So you got them finishing second, I'm assuming, and the only loss potentially in the conference is the Havelock.
Mm-hmm.
And so they still play. They're still playing New Hanover. 6-4. Their losses is the White Oak game. That's the first game of the season, right?
Yeah, Northside White Oak.
Northside White Oak. So you got them losing to White Oak, Jacksonville, New Hanover, which are all in larger conferences, obviously, and then you got them losing to Havelock. So I'm assuming, I'm going to make the assumption 6-4. They could go 7-3 if they mess around and beat White Oak.
Yeah, I think they can beat. I mean, that's a toss-up game.
Yeah.
You know, but White Oaks had their number the last couple of years. Defeated them pretty good last year, and the game 2 years ago was pretty competitive, and so I think it's gonna be a good crowd and a good game to kick off the season.
So it says here, athletically, Northside should be favored in the first 5 conference games before. Okay, that's a conference. So what do they do offensively?
Well, they're going to do what they've always done. I mean, they like to sling the football around and establish the passing game. So they do have a young quarterback that's going to try to prove himself. But receiver wise, they have some athletes. So I mean, they're going to try to make those plays, and they have 2 really good receivers that will have a chance to have a big year this year. The key is, will they be able to run the ball, and then defensively, will they be able to make enough stops?
Okay. So goes their defense, so goes Northside. Okay. Richlands, and now we were just talking about them. You got them going 3-7, potentially being the sleeper of the group. The wins are over South Brunswick, Dixon, and Swansboro. And let's see, they're in that conference. It says Havelock. Well, Richlands. Okay, so you tell me a little bit about Bill Good. Have you obviously you've met him. Tell me a little bit about him. Was he there previously, or
Yeah, he was on staff previously.
Okay.
He's a Richlands guy. He's been a part of the community for many years. Has helped coach a lot of these kids at the rec level. So I mean, that goes a long way. I mean, when you've established relationships with these kids at a young age and you continue to work with them, you have that bond, you have that trust, and I think he knows what he's doing. I think he's excited for the opportunity, and I think Richlands does go into the year with a lot to prove, and they're going to come out motivated and try to establish their own identity with what they hope is a win against Southwest in week 1.
Continue the streak.
what is what are they going to do? Do we know what they're going to do offensively? Are they going to continue?
More of a run guy.
They're not gonna sling the ball 20 times, 30 times a game. They're gonna run the ball, and try to play good defense like they've done the last couple of years.
Okay.
Between them and Southwest, it could be the shortest Southwest Richlands game ever. Might be over in an hour. Both teams running the ball. Yeah.
Hey,
running clock.
Not running clock. Just there's no passes to stop it. Yeah.
I won't complain. Get back home.
Then you go catch the second half for another game.
Now, I will tell you this. I went last year to the White Oak Richlands game at Richlands. And I was the first time I go to White Oak games, obviously, but first time that I really had watched Richlands play probably in 20 years at least. And granted, I don't know if it was because Coach Bird or whatever, Coach Bird from Richlands, but they just seemed, the game, they just seemed to be a different team.
Yeah.
I mean, they seem to be competitive. They seem to be very engaged. I mean, White Oak beat them, but the game was close. The game was close. If I remember, we ended up leaving early in the fourth quarter or midway through the fourth quarter, but the game was close as I recall. And so I'm just wondering, because one thing, and I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but areas, unless you recruit players to come over and play for you, schools go through cycles, man, of having really good athletes, and for a long time, Richlands had some really good athletes, and then they kind of went through a little lull, and it seems like they may be kind of, having this uptick with athletes coming back. And as much as anything else too, I think in high school, when you do have a number, when you do have if you're a smaller school, and I know Richlands is in the 3A or the 5A or whatever, but still they're not a large school. It's you probably got athletes at the school, but it's getting them to participate, getting them to play football. So many parents talk to kids about, well, Johnny's going to go play. He wants to play D1 basketball, or Johnny wants to play D1 baseball, or whatever, and they start slingshotting them in high school because that's what Johnny wants to do. I mean, I had an interesting conversation with Jonathan Bird about this last week because he's had some guys come out in the last couple of years that one in particular, I can't remember the kid's name, but he's a hell of a wrestler in the area. And I think he came out last year and played, I know he's playing this year because I met the kid.
Alexander?
Yeah, I think, and hell of a wrestler, but Bird got him to come out, and he's like, look, man, I know wrestling's your thing, or wrestling's your thing, however you want to say it. People pick on me the way I say that word. But you be here when you can, you contribute when you can, and so for schools like us, especially not necessarily during the regular season, man, but schools in Onslow County, but when you get to the playoffs and you get the stuff like that, especially when you get in those bigger classifications, you need to have, when you go play the schools, but they may not be in Raleigh, or they may be on the outskirts of Raleigh, the suburbs of Raleigh, or the suburbs of Charlotte, or the suburbs of wherever. You need to have as many good athletes on the field as you can. And I think that's the one thing that I think that a lot of times we miss the boat on. If Johnny can't make it to practice but 4 out of 5 days, because he's leaving to go on a wrestling, because he's trying to wrestle, man, or whatever. That's his gig. Do we penalize him? So what are y'all's thoughts about that?
Well, same thing with like kickers coming from the soccer team. A lot of great coaches, they recruit the soccer team to get a good kicker. You don't have one coming up anyway. And there's some schools, I heard of one in the county that the boys soccer coach said, if you play football, then don't come back to soccer. I don't want you doing both. I've heard that, and I'm not going to say which one, but that's just, I don't think the way to be. If he can kick on his off time, let him kick.
Yeah. I think there's a difference between if the kid's just not showing up to practice because he's going home and playing video games.
Yeah.
But if he's, hey, coach, I can't make football practice because we got a soccer game.
Yeah.
That's understandable. You're still doing something school related with the other sports. So
and
I think
it's still your best option at kicker, obviously. Yeah.
And it brings up and I'm probably going to eventually get some grief from this, but you have these increasing number of sports that are added on, and that's only going to hurt. Look, I'm all for kids having all these opportunities, boys volleyball, and now you're talking about girls flag football, which is great, and these kids are getting opportunities, and that's awesome. But I'm going to be very interested to see how many schools, like Swansboro added boys volleyball. I don't think their girls flag football is going to really be there's not going to be a very strong push in this in the next year or two. But I don't think many schools are going to be adding boys volleyball because
when was that added? Was that added in the spring?
The spring season for Swansboro boys volleyball, yeah.
So now in the spring you have baseball, you have track and field. Does Swansboro have lacrosse?
Yeah, Swansboro has boys
they
and
have
girls
lacrosse.
Is that spring too?
It's spring, yeah.
That's spring. And then they have and now they have volleyball.
Yeah.
And have they made a determination yet when, if they do add girls flag football, when that's going to be?
I think they said springtime. I think a lot of your tournaments were going to be in springtime. But again,
so you already got softball and soccer going on.
You already have softball and so
no, softball goes in the fall.
That's middle school.
Middle school is in the fall.
Yeah,
softball
and high school.
Okay. But you got softball, you got track and field, you got some schools have lacrosse, and then you'll have flag football,
and that's not
girls soccer.
Yeah,
and girls soccer. Yeah.
And again, that's not throwing shade at some of these other sports.
No.
I'm all for these kids getting an opportunity, but like I said, it's just going to be very interesting how schools, how much of a pushback some of these schools are going to have. No, we can't afford to have this sport or that sport because it's hard enough to field.
Oh no, I 100% agree with you.
Especially the smaller schools.
Yeah.
And you can see a lot of the girls. Same thing with lacrosse and boys soccer. It's a lot of the same athletes probably that want to try to do both, and you can't do both.
Now, this is something that I'm sure I'm going to probably get some grief about, but we heard this, and again, not throwing shade at lacrosse, but we heard, lacrosse is going to be the best thing since sliced bread. It's going to be, it's going to overtake football, the participation levels, and, and it went up a little bit, but now it's kind of plateaued and even dipped down a little bit.
So in Onslow County, Jacksonville's got a boys team,
boys and girls,
and Northside.
Northside has boys and girls. Swansboro has boys and girls. Carlton. I mean,
Yeah.
boys and girls.
White Oak has lacrosse too.
They used to.
White Oak has a girls.
They have a girls. Yeah, I knew they used to, but I didn't.
I don't know about Dixon.
And they've had word on the street. They've had one inquiry about why they don't have boys lacrosse over the last whatever how many years.
Yeah, I mean Well, I mean, if you don't have the kids to participate, you got to have kids.
You gotta have a team.
And you got to have kids. You got to have a coach.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot that goes into adding a sport. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't mean to get sidetracked.
Yeah.
But because I knew this next one was going to take a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about Southwest High School.
Who?
Southwest 7-2 losses. So that they only play nine games as well.
And it's interesting because them and Jacksonville have the same open date, but it's right before both of them's conference.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, you got East Duplin on October 3rd. Last thing you want to do is play a big physical team like Jacksonville, and otherwise that probably would have been a good fit to add them.
So you're saying that could have happened?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And do we want to get to the bottom line of why Southwest only has 9 games?
Yeah, I want to. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
So Southwest, Zach Garvey was named head coach, and then going into the spring, the Lejeune coach was going to stay. So they worked out a game where Southwest and Lejeune was gonna play in week 2. Well, the Lejeune coach had another career opportunity to go back overseas and basically get
something bigger than Lejeune football.
Yeah,
Okay.
to get more money those teachers at Dodia overseas get paid like nobody's business. So he went back overseas to coach and teach like in Germany or something like that. Without a coach, the Lejeune people said, look, now we're starting from scratch again. So I can understand both. So I can understand both. Your word is your bond, but nothing was officially signed yet.
Yeah.
So I can understand both sides.
Didn't they come out with it? The classifications came out real late too, didn't
They drug on them.
Yeah.
But make them official because you had some appeals out there.
they? Yeah, yeah.
Now, one thing too, though, in this whole thing, this is that case we talked about earlier where not playing Lejeune and only playing 9 games is going to help Southwest RPI.
Yeah, I was going to
I mean,
say
you can play them,
from that perspective,
it's going to hurt your RPI just because of they're a lower classification and they're not going to have a lot of wins.
All right, so 7-2, 4-1 in the conference. So White Oak could potentially be a winnable game. So so that would be put them at 8-1, and the Southwest Loyalist will put down the sharp knives. Okay.
And it's so funny because the big conference championship game, if you look at what the potential is now, is the first game of the season, October 3rd. I would have thought Southwest and East Duplin would have been the final game like they have been for years.
Yeah.
But either way, the Southwest got Clinton. I think East Duplin's got maybe Dixon for the final game.
No, something like that.
Yeah,
like Southern or something like that.
Yeah, it's just weird. You would have thought that would have been a no-brainer to put that as the last game. Halloween night, by the way, is the last game of the year.
All right, let's talk about Swansboro.
The Borough.
We
Rodney Beasley.
got them going 1-9, 0-6 in the conference. They do play Pamlico in a non-conference game. Oh, Southwest. What are they going to do? Run the ball? I'm assuming that they're going to run it because
they'll try that this year.
Because you made the mention of the quickest game.
No, actually, for everybody out there scouting them, it'll be wide open spread. Just play for the pass.
Yeah. Eric Garvey.
And I do agree with you on this, Chris. I think Swansboro's the one with the most potential upside from what you have them at. Possibly.
So are they going to
have more room to grow?
Are they going to they've kind of slung it around in the past?
Oh, they tried to.
Like air raid, didn't it?
Oh, they tried to throw it. I'm having fun here, but let's just say Swansboro games can be the longest because they've thrown it time and time again, and when you throw a bunch of incomplete passes,
and they run up tempo too.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna so I don't know that I disagree with the philosophy, because, but you got to have a good athletic. You got to have a good quarterback, and you got to have receivers that can catch the ball. But I have always said that if you wanted to really make movement, because defensive backs in high school are kind of like, you put guys that are pretty good athletes out there, or you put guys that, hey, we need an 11th man, or put go to safety, or go
like
to
right field, in
yeah,
baseball,
or whatever. You're filling the spot. So I don't know that I necessarily disagree with the philosophy behind slinging it, but you do have to have a good quarterback, or at least somebody that can throw the ball.
And I think they do. I think their quarterback's going to be a young man, Kevin Till. He has a little bit of experience. They do have some athletes, coming back. So I think I think they'll be able to compete in some games.
What's the high side from 1-9? How many more games you think they could go 3-7?
I think they can go 3-7. I mean, a win over maybe Richlands, Dixon. I mean, some of those. I think they have a chance to maybe even win 4 if they play their cards right.
Okay,
Chris, I know you listen to the podcast on Sunday nights religiously.
Oh yeah.
Did you catch this past Sunday? Okay, we were talking about our mutual team, the Carolina Tar Heels, who had what we called the fastest 3 and out in football. The Larry Fedora fast break offense. Let's get the play off in 10 seconds, and let's be back on the bench so our defense has 30 seconds to rest.
Oh, God.
And that's the problem with a fast break offense. If you're not moving the ball, your defense is sucking.
Yeah, that's true.
Sucking wind from 3 counties, and they're already back out on the field. So if they can get it moving, then it's a great thing. But yeah, running up tempo and throwing the ball a lot, if you're not getting it down the field,
that's a
it
good
hurts
point.
you.
Good point. All right, let's end it up with the Oak. The Oak. We got them going.
Oak.
You got them going 6-4, 1-4 in the big conference, Big Carolina Conference. D.H. Conley, New Bern, J.H. Rose, and Jacksonville. So you only got them beating South Central. White Oak. I know Bird's going to run the ball, and I know that he's going to hang his hat on defense.
I think they may surprise a game or two.
6-4.
But like you said,
what's
like
the
you showed
upside?
On here, 5-0 before they get to the the tougher games. I mean, they got tough games, but 5-0 before they get to the harder games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So potentially, D.H. Conley, that they can potentially beat D.H. Conley, maybe.
I think so.
Well,
Because I think there was some interesting discussion. I'm not saying Bird said it. I'm not creating any locker room talk, but I think Bird thinks that White Oak will be competitive against. I mean, he thinks they're going to be competitive against everybody, but I think he thinks D.H. Conley is in his sights.
He's a great motivator, buddy.
And to his credit, he understands. I mean, again, we all have fun with predictions and everything, but Jonathan Bird's one of those guys that doesn't get butthurt over predictions. He's like, look, I don't blame you guys for not picking us because we haven't proven we can beat D.H. Conley or J.H. Rose and Jacksonville's and teams like that. So until we prove we can beat those teams, go ahead. Now, I'm sure he's telling these guys, he's motivated these guys in a good way and getting them pumped up. So, but he's going to have his guys ready to play.
Oh yeah, he'll have them ready.
He loves to do bulletin
Well,
board material, and he can spin it just perfect too. He's a good motivator.
Just like when last year during the podcast, and this is everybody that listened to it, we called the conference that Jacksonville and Northside was in. We called that the SEC, and we called the conference that White Oak played in the Mountain West. So they're stepping up from the Mountain West to the SEC this year. So we'll see how that goes. All right, now just a quick recap. Quick questions. Playoff teams. I mean, are they all going to make the playoffs because they've expanded? So
I don't know.
let me ask you this: Who goes the farthest of the Onslow County schools in this year's playoffs?
Oh, in Onslow County.
Yeah.
I think you have to say Jacksonville.
So Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I would say
They'll be in with teams. They won't be in with Rose. Well, they will be in with Rose.
But the leading schools most likely will be Jacksonville to go the farthest, with maybe Southwest following suit.
Yeah, because I looked at that 4A bracket, and a lot of the Washroads Hill's not in there anymore. The some of the teams that were the big dogs in 2A are in either or down to the 3A now.
Yeah.
So 4A, I can see Southwest, depending on how the matchups rate out in the playoffs. They might can make a run. Look at what Kinston did last year because of matchups.
So what's going to happen is you're going to, because we have 8 and then it's all watered down and spread apart, spread out. You're going to have a lot of 6-4 teams 7-3 teams that are going to go pretty far in the playoffs, and that's just where I remember when. You know, if you were 7-3, you may be lucky to win one playoff game, maybe two. But now you're going to have maybe even 5-5 teams win some playoff games.
Okay. Offensive player of the year.
Ooh,
Who's got the stud in the area? Offensive player of the year.
just Onslow County or all?
Well, counting East Duplin and Croatan and West Carteret. We didn't go over West Carteret, but East Duplin and Croatan.
I would say right now probably Sean Davis from East Duplin. He's a senior running back. He's first team all area as a sophomore and junior. So I mean, he really came onto the scene as a sophomore 2 years ago, and he's bigger, stronger, faster, and I think with East Duplin potentially having success, I think he'll have a chance to do pretty well this year.
Defensive player of the year.
Ooh, that's gonna be a little probably somebody maybe from Jacksonville. I mean, they do. Word on the street is that Jacksonville's defense is going to be pretty
Stout.
That
stout
big
this
dude
year.
they got in the middle, the Samoan name. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
The big
Tuiasa.
nose guard.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember or not, but I did a story on him 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Stout.
His grandfather played in the movie Street Fighter movie.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, and then also was what's his name from Unnecessary Roughness,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know.
the big
he's-
Samoan.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
I
big
didn't
Samoan
know
guy.
that.
Nice. That's his grandfather?
That's his grandfather,
Wow.
and he is related to.
Oh
the,
man, that makes me feel older because that movie was like mid '80s or something. Yeah.
but he is related to the Salulis from Southwest.
Right.
That's his dad.
Okay.
All right. top newcomer. Who is going to be new to the scene this year, if you can name someone?
That's a
Is that a good question?
It's tough because you don't know where
yeah. It's tough because you don't have like you don't have like college transfer portals
Yeah.
and the upcoming freshmen aren't as highlighted as
Have you talked to any coach that says this kid transferred in, he's new, or this kid was JV last year and might expect anybody that anybody said that any of the coaches have said?
Yeah, there's been a couple, military transfers and things like that coaches are pretty excited for. So, but I think this year it's going to be dominated on, like I said, Jacksonville. Their seniors defensively are gonna be pretty stout. I think White Oak, I think they're going to be led by Josh Smith, their quarterback, 3-year starter. Northside, they're experienced at receivers, and so I think a lot of your experienced players are gonna.
This is their time to shine.
Are going to be the alpha dogs. this year.
Okay. All right, let's get to predictions. Let's get to week 1 predictions. You got the
Oh, yep.
schedule, and we're going to wrap up. We're just a little bit over an hour, so
All right.
we're trying to keep it at an hour. You call it out, and we'll call them.
Richlands at Southwest.
I'm going to go strictly because I don't think it could happen 6 years in a row. I'm going to go, or 4 years in a row. I'm going to go with Southwest.
Yep, Southwest.
Yeah, I think I'll pull for the state.
Yeah. All right.
White Oak at Northside.
I'm a homer, and I have to go with Oak.
I'm going to.
I'm going to go with White Oak, but in a close game.
Close game.
West Carteret at Jacksonville.
They hate each other, Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, it won't be the 56-7 game that it was last year's playoffs, but they'll win by a touchdown at least.
And West Carter's always been a thorn in their side, like years that you thought they'd beat them by 30. It would be a close game, but I think Jacksonville will win.
Okay.
Topsail at Dixon.
I don't know anything about Topsail, but I do know that you've got them beating most of the people in Onslow County that they are playing. So I'm going to say Topsail.
Topsail.
And Topsail's, are they 8A or 7A?
I think they're
They're one of the two. I think they're 8A.
Well, I remember the days when they were 1A.
Gosh, dude, I remember
and
that.
Dixon, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm going with Topsail now.
Topsail.
Okay.
South Columbus at Swansboro.
I know nothing about South Columbus except it's in Columbus County, the southern portion of Columbus County. But because you've got them going 1-9, I'm going to probably go with South Columbus.
South Columbus.
I think just tradition alone. I mean, they're not what they were, but I mean,
Oh, were
coming
they
back up,
have they been good in the past? South
South
Columbus.
Columbus. Yeah, they play. They're probably one of the best teams tradition-wise that's never won a state championship. What do
Yep.
you say?
And they have the horseshoe on their helmet.
Yeah,
like
they're the Stallions,
Okay.
but I think they'll be smart.
Well, we won't hold that against them. Go
That's
ahead.
true.
East Duplin at Wallace Rose Hill.
Woo, that's a Donnybrook right out the gate.
Man, See, I don't know much about Wallace Rose Hill. I just know when we went and played them up there back in the mid '80s. I know they're consistently good, but I think Battle's going to come. I think Battle's going to be ready to play. I'm going to go for the upset here and say East Duplin.
I'm gonna pick Wallace just because I already picked Wallace earlier, but I would not be surprised if East Duplin won the game.
I think East Duplin will win, and I love Wallace Rose Hill's program. Obviously, over the years, all the state championships, Coach Holly back in the days, the black and orange, that's just a great color combination. The knock I got on them is you've been to games at Legion Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
You have a game, you have East Duplin probably bringing 1,000 fans maybe to the game, and you got 57 seats for them.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and put some bleachers over there. They don't use it for baseball anymore, I don't think. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The visitor side is horrible.
Oh yeah, well it is. We played there.
I'm going with
We
East
played there
Duplin.
twice in 1985, 86.
Yeah, you need some bleachers.
All right, who's
Want people
next?
to come, have somewhere for them to sit.
All right, Croatan at East Carteret.
I know nothing about East Carteret, but I will say Croatan.
I say Croatan.
Croatan.
All right. I guess this game is going to be removed off the betting lines just because Lejeune at American Leadership Academy.
What in the world? I'm
And
gonna.
I've heard they are an 8-on-8 team, so I'm going with Lejeune. Now, I don't know anything about American.
No, I don't,
Is Lejeune home or away?
it's at American Leadership Academy.
Okay, if it
Anybody
was
know where that even is?
if it was on base, I would say I'm going with Lejeune because they would have to forfeit
Yeah,
because
'cause
the
half
team couldn't get on base.
yeah.
So I will go with Lejeune.
American Leadership Academy, I think they're in their third year. They did win some games last year, so that's why I picked them.
Where are they?
Um,
You know where they are? You don't know where they are?
in America.
Yeah, in America.
America.
And America.
And then the last one,
They're in Clayton.
Liberty Christian at Sand Hills Christian.
Yeah, we didn't go over Liberty Christian because I just is that 8-man football?
8-man football.
Yeah. Sand Hills. Okay, I'm just gonna say Liberty hadn't had a very good team the last last year or 2 years they've had it now.
Well, this is their third year. They didn't win a game 2 years ago, but they did win 2 games this year. And the way their conference and their league is now set up, they play some of the same teams twice. So,
Okay.
and a couple of those teams that they played twice, they beat last year.
Are they going to play Living Water this year? Because Living Water's trying to have a team.
Liverwater will have a team next year.
Oh, is it next year they're having a team?
Next year, yeah.
Because they're looking for a football coach now.
Yeah. Well, they thought they had one, and then some things worked up. And
Okay.
Speaking of, congratulations to Brandon Monk, Southwest Boys
Yeah,
Basketball.
I was going to bring that up. This has been a quite eventful day and eventful week in Southwest athletics. They've got a new basketball coach, and for another time we'll do another high school show. You lost a big announcement on Facebook. You lost an incoming freshman.
Oh, yeah, he's committed.
He's
Does
committed.
committed mean he was recruited or just
Committed to Liberty.
Just
Going-
when he's put
going-
committed, that
going
just
to
sounds
Liberty.
bad.
So I'm going
Now,
to go.
does Liberty have any football scholarships available too?
No, hey, why don't you bring in Sean Richmond? He's the coach and athletic director, and
Oh yeah, we'll work on that.
nice guy.
I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Liberty in that game
In
just
that
because
game against
you gotta-
whoever.
You gotta go Liberty, Liberty, Liberty.
Liberty. Oh yeah, Liberty. Yeah, yeah. Well, man, Chris, thank you, bud. We appreciate it, and we're going to do this again during the year. We're going to figure out some stuff. Chris and I are talking about maybe trying to do this on a regular basis during the week or something like that, and having a high school show because I think we've proven that we can talk for an hour about it, and instead of shortchanging it on the 2 Men a Six Pack podcast, maybe dedicating some more time to it. So, with that said, I know you guys are all excited about high school football kicking off. You're going out of town this weekend, so
Ask me where I'm going.
yeah, I know where you're going. You told me he's going to the Katy Perry concert.
No,
Lenovo.
I'm driving my wife and our 12-year-old daughter to Raleigh so they can go to the Katy Perry concert.
So, are you sitting in the car, or are you
I'm
going?
gonna stay in the hotel and
Okay.
watch preseason football.
All right. Well, I'll give that
There's
to
a
you.
hotel right at the corner of Lenovo if you want walking distance.
All right. Rayner, tomorrow on your show, you got Bo Williams.
Williams.
Is that correct?
Bo Williams and Bob Warlick. Bob's the color commentary
The
for
color
Cardinal
com-
football, so he's going to
All
be there
right.
to help ask some questions. It's always better with more than just two people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why you
Makes
were here
more
today.
chatter. I know.
That's why you're here today.
Tag along.
All right. Well, that's it. And next time we'll see you on Sunday with the regular showing of 2 Men Six Pack. But if you're around, check this out and provide some feedback. That's it.